We talk about the main reason why the SNP are voting for no-deal Brexit, and Andrew Neil exposes the flaw in Nicola Sturgeon's plan. Hello everyone and welcome to today's show. We all know Nicola Sturgeon. She's Scotland's First Minister, Queen of Scotland, Queen Nicola. You know, she campaigned to remain in the European Union. She was against Brexit. She was also against no-deal Brexit. If you don't believe me, hear it from her.
Well, leaving the European Union with no deal would be devastating for the Scottish economy and for the wider UK economy. It's unthinkable that that could be allowed to happen.
Well, Nicola Sturgeon said no-deal Brexit is the worst thing that could happen for Scotland's economy and for the UK in general, because she really cares about the union and our family that we have. But she's changed her mind now. You've seen in the news, and we've talked about this on this channel, that she's now changed the sign with this sign. Today I'm voting against the deal that I demanded. We got this meme thanks to the Core Twitter account. If you don't follow Core, definitely follow it. Now, the issue that we have is firstly the hypocrisy of this. In this video, I'm going to talk about the main reason why they're doing this. And a number of bigger people like Andrew Neil have also exposed the flaw in this independent Scotland that the SNP are obsessed with. I don't really like to call it independence. It's more like an isolation. Ironically, they keep calling the Brexiteers and Brexit an isolationist move. In reality, that's creating a global Britain, thanks to people like Liz Truss and her trade deals. And we're also going to talk about the SNP's idiotic move against free trade. Now, Nicola Sturgeon has been warning against no-deal Brexit. She was also, in one of her daily press briefings that she's obsessed with these days, everybody's stopped doing daily briefings, but she keeps doing them because she likes the attention. She came out and said that she implied that Boris Johnson promised a free trade deal with the European Union. She was basically saying that, well, Boris promised this deal. It's not going to happen, but we have to vote for a deal regardless.
Clearly, a deal, any deal, is better than no deal, and I hope the Prime Minister manages to resolve the issues that are outstanding and deliver what he always said would be really easy to deliver, which is a trade deal with the European Union.
Okay, so the flip-flopping aside, the hypocrisy aside, that she's now going to be voting against this deal just because, well, she's not happy with the deal now, she's pro-no-deal Brexit? Not really. I mean, it's still coming from the same party that they have, like Joanna Cherry, one of their MPs, who said that the Scottish court should consider whether Boris Johnson should be punished over no-deal Brexit. Now that Boris Johnson has signed a trade deal with the European Union, now they've changed their mind. The main reason, and people like Andrew Neil have mentioned this a number of times, it's nothing to do with their ideology. The Scottish Nationalist Party aren't necessarily pro or anti-European Union in that sense. It's the same with a number of other policy choices that they always have. What they want to do is they want to pick any position that will destroy the UK, that will help them achieve their main goal, which is to have Scotland on their own, but being run by the SNP and their cliques. That's the main issue. So if there was a point where Brexit was actually in high demand, and they knew that people in the rest of the kingdom, especially in England and even Wales, were pro-Brexit, she campaigned against it to cause chaos. And then when she realized that, well, the UK could actually be better off without a trade deal, and when, after about 2018, when we knew that the EU actually need us more than we need them, and that we are going to be ready for no-deal Brexit, she realized, okay, we have to create an obstacle to stop this. Now that we have signed the trade deal, which is, it's not a perfect trade deal, as you know, now they've changed their position because they realize that by having this trade deal and this new relationship with the EU, well, the country, once again, is going to be stable and strong, as Theresa May would say. So they don't like that. Now they're going against this trade deal just to cause more trouble. Firstly, they know in reality that they're not going to win the vote. With the 80-seat majority that Boris Johnson has, it's not going to happen. It's just to send the message, to send the signal. Same thing that the others are doing as well. A big chunk of Labour MPs are doing it as well. The Liberal Democrats are also against the deal now. They're pro-no deal. But the SNP are doing it just to cause more trouble in the country, because the more you make the UK less stable, the more likely it is for Scotland, for the SNP, to get their second Scottish referendum. And that's all they care about. The more chaos they cause, the more likely it is that they think the more likely it is that they're going to get their Scottish referendum. This is the massive problem in this whole situation, because they don't really know what they're actually doing. The reason I say they're not necessarily pro or anti-EU, and they're just using the EU as an excuse, is because we know that, for example, the state of the EU trade over the years, when the European Union, on behalf of all the countries, signed all these trade deals with other countries, even now Liz Truss signing these trade deals with other countries, the SNP have always voted against these deals, either voted against them or abstained.
But, Mr. Speaker, I'll say this also about the SNP, because once again, Mr. Speaker, they are complaining about these deals not being rolled over. And these are all deals that they've either not supported or abstained on. They abstained on EU-Japan. They abstained on EU-Singapore. They were against EU-Canada. They were against EU-South Africa. They're against EU-Korea. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I've gone back 15 years, and I cannot find a single trade deal that the SNP has ever supported or voted for. So it's a bit rich for him to come along today and say these deals haven't been rolled over, none of which he supported in the first place. Mr. Speaker, the SNP are anti-trade. They're hell-bent on breaking up our union, and they are against Scotland's best economic interests.
Yeah, see? I mean, every single position that could make the UK stable, they always went against it. They're not pro-trade. They're not pro-single market. They're not pro this kind of family of Europe. They went with the European Union because they knew that at this point the UK is now against the European Union. Before the 2016 referendum, Scotland, but the Scottish Nationalist Party, didn't really say much about the European Union. They didn't have the EU flags flying outside their buildings. Suddenly they realized, well, now that the UK is against it, we should go with the EU. The enemy of an enemy is my friend sort of mentality. And this is a big problem. And Andrew Neil, who has this new Spectator TV program, and it's really good actually if you haven't seen it, was talking about the flaw in this Scottish independence plan, especially when it comes to the financial matters and the currency.
But just look at the time scale here, because it could take X years. We know what X is. Well, you still have sterling before you get to your Scottish currency. It could then take Y years for that new currency to establish itself, a Scottish central bank, to satisfy the EU's requirements. So X and Y together could be more than 10 years. It could be a lot more. Indeed, it could not be for the foreseeable future. That's the reality.
Well, we'll see. I mean,
You're going to be in a situation where you're going to have the currency of another country, so you will have very limited monetary policy. You will be trying to get towards the EU rules, which mean a huge squeeze on public spending. Your party has ruled out major tax rises because you've frightened all the caravans head south. Whichever way you cut it, on fiscal, monetary policy, tax policy, the first 10 years of an independent Scotland are going to be a decade of austerity.
Well, it's absolutely right. And I don't know what they're thinking. No one knows exactly. I don't think even they know what the plan is. If the SNP really cared about Scotland, they would fix the problems that they have in Scotland. We know they haven't. State of education is a mess. Healthcare, mess. The state of just the whole country and the cities. You've got Glasgow. This just came out that the rubbish is everywhere. In south of Glasgow, there's certain areas that people have now been protesting because the area is in a mess. The Scottish government, the local authorities don't really care. They're not really cleaning what they're supposed to be. And people have now been protesting against this. So the residents and obviously workers have taken to the streets in protest amid problems with overflowing bins, rats and fly tipping in the area. And this doesn't just apply to the south of Glasgow. There are a number of other areas across Scotland in the same situation. So they had this day of action, which was organised as part of a joint campaign, and with a petition to also set up to support the campaign. It's quite embarrassing, considering people pay their taxes, local and national, for the Scottish government to support them, but it's not really happening. And on the other hand, they have Alex Salmond's scandal still happening. It's obviously Salmond, who was the godfather of the the Sturgeon's clique. Nicola Sturgeon was using Salmond as her mentor, and he's been in this mess because he's been harassing people, and all the complaints that happened. We found out that Nicola Sturgeon knew about the complaints, and she covered it up. She didn't say anything until actually it was exposed. That situation is now come back out, and last week it was now disclosed that the external legal counsel has now threatened to withdraw from the Scottish Government legal team unless it collapses its case. So Alex Salmond is now going to be submitting his written testimony, and Nicola Sturgeon will appear the week later as well. And the document that was released on Wednesday indicates that as far back as October 2018, the government and its lawyers had been discussing the controversial role of an investigating officer in the complaints more than 2 months before the government conceded the case. They don't even know how to manage the economy, the healthcare, the education, streets. They don't even know how to manage their own scandals that they create. Now, these people think they can run Scotland properly. No, it's not going to happen. Now, what we have is that we've got all these memes coming out to make fun of the SNP policy on Brexit. No hard Tory Brexit we demand. No deal is taken off the table. And then, well, we're voting against the deal and for a hard Brexit. So many memes on Twitter going on about this. The no deal Nicola hashtag is now trending. It's been trending for the past couple of days. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But the best one is the Pinocchio sort of knows. Yes, she's definitely a liar. Now, we would love to hear from Nicola Sturgeon, but unfortunately, she's still blocked me. I'm still blocked by Nicola Sturgeon's account on Twitter. I haven't even tagged her or anything. I've just made a video exposing her policies, and her office decided to block me on Twitter. So, very mature, Nicola. Very mature. Now, 2021 is going to be the year where I'm going to focus a lot on the SNP's hypocrisy and the mismanagement of Scotland. So stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. And also, 2 days from now, Thursday, end of the year, we're going to have a special New Year's Eve episode. We're going to look back in 2020 and all the chaotic stories that came out. We're going to have special guests, Brendan O'Neill, Isabel Oakeshott, Lawrence Fox. These guys will join Lacey Butcher and me to discuss 2020. So stay tuned for that as well. Thanks again for watching. I'm Tousi, and I'll see you guys in the next video.